Hi, this is Katie Burns with Live Well, and today we have another special opportunity to speak with the Bledsoe County Cancer Care Team. And I want to introduce my guest. This is Gail Denny, Ruth Burton, and Debbie Collier. And they're going to tell you a little bit about the Cancer Care Team here in Bledsoe County, the history, and how you can get involved, because that's really the point of today's message, is to let you guys know that this has been in existence for many years now, how to donate and how to get involved, and how we can help people in our community that are struggling with cancer. So Gail, if you just go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the Cancer Care Team.
Okay, my name is Gail. As she said, I live out on what is called Wheeler Mountain. Beautiful place to live on the farm with my husband. I became involved in 2013 when Debbie got a hold of me to see if I wanted to help with this, because I was helping with Relay for Life, and she thought that I would see that it was something. I was also sent money from this group when I myself had cancer.
Yeah, and we'll get more into that later, because your story is really powerful, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about it. But Ruth joining us again after, still, have we got book number 2?
Not yet.
Okay, it's fine, just keep us waiting, but go ahead.
Thanks for having me. I'm Ruth Burton. I live with my husband just south of Pikeville, off of Old 28 behind the middle school, on my husband's family farm. And of course, I also at Printing Partners occasionally,
yes,
business that I have in town, partners with Tommy Fan.
Burns Farms enjoys using Printing Partners.
We
really like that.
We're thankful that you do.
That we did spur of the moment. Anyway, okay, carrying on. Debbie?
I'm Debbie Collier. I live out on the Wheeler Mountain where Gail lives with my husband Bobby. We are the owner and operators of a farm called Three Hills Farm. And on that farm we have a poultry production that we raise for Hubbard, but on our own we raise sheep, and we have a market for sheep in Chattanooga where we are selling sheep to restaurants now. And we have a great market. Our sheep are grass-fed, and so it's very well promoted. We raise a breed called Cheviot, which are very particular to maybe more the northern area. We're probably one of the few people in Tennessee. It's a meat breed. And so Bobby's done a great job with that, and I'm just a sidekick, and that's about all we do. It's just hang out at the farm.
David won't let me have any sheep. I love sheep.
We could give you some sheep.
This is good. I'm glad that you brought this up.
Yes, we could give you some sheep.
Okay. Anyway, let's get Ruth, can you tell us a little bit about the history of the Bledsoe County Cancer Care Team?
I'd be glad to. We started in about 2000 and started from the efforts of Sherry Pendergrass.
Yes, you guys, Sherry Pendergrass, her son is Matt Pendergrass, who works for Burns Farms and has since he was 16 years old, and we love him. He's been our most dedicated employee.
He's a great guy. I see him going through the field, and I so often think how proud his mother would be of him and his wife and their son. And so Sherry, of course, grew up with us.
Y'all were friends.
Matt and my daughter went all through school together, and there was a group of those kids. And during that time, Sherry was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, and we watched her valiant, courageous struggle for several years. And Sherry was a fun-loving person. She was a friendly person and outgoing. And what struck me during all those years was anytime you asked her how she was fine. She's fine. And I'd have a headache or something, and poor Sherry would be coming off chemo, and she was fine. So she was a real example to all of us. In fact, one little story that I have told several times, I learned a lot from Sherry as she was going through her battle. And probably the thing that stuck with me most is one day I was taking her to Nashville for chemo, and she tried everything that was out there. She got on some experimental studies and just to have as much time as she could with her husband and son. And we're going to Nashville, and I was talking to her about how positive she always stayed. Didn't get her down. She wasn't a complainer. And she said, well, every day I try to think of something I'm grateful for and thank God for that. But she was getting discouraged and said, but I'm kind of running low on things. But she said, today what I thanked him for was that I have cancer and my son doesn't.
Wow.
And that hit me so hard of how thankful she was in that kind of circumstance. And that's always stayed with me.
We're gonna have to break out the tissues here. But I love that. I love that, that's what you want to take the pain away from your children. And even though, you're in pain and there are bad days, finding something to be grateful for, that is so healing. Just trying to hold on to that positive attitude. It sounds like that's what she did.
I think that's one of the most powerful statements that I've ever heard.
It's just my son doesn't have it. And he's able, he's going on and he's working hard and, he's out there providing for a family. So what she left behind is, are real valuable. And he's not a complainer. He's always really positive.
Right.
So maybe he got that from her.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
But she had a big group of friends, and she never wanted you to do something for her. But while she was going through this, through her experiences, she saw gaps that people who have cancer can face. And she tried to address those. And she just told her friends, we're starting this cancer team, and what we're going to do is help people in our area, our local people in Bledsoe County. And so she originally started this in about 2000, and she passed away on October 13th, 2002. But she had this in place and let us know it wasn't going to end with her. So this is really her legacy.
Yeah.
And so the Bledsoe County Cancer Care Team now, what we do in what we think of as a small way is to try to assist people, our neighbors and our friends, anybody who's local. As we all know, cancer is expensive.
Yes.
We've all been touched by cancer. Those of us who haven't had it personally have all had somebody close to us with cancer. And being in a rural community, if you have to go for chemo 5 days a week, for several weeks in a row, you're talking about some major expense beyond whether you have health insurance or what that does.
Well, even insurance today is really messed up for a lot of people.
Right.
Oh, yes.
And I had a client who got laid off, got fired, and then had a health issue happen 2 weeks later, not covered. And that could really happen, to anybody.
Right. And we've run into several people. It's very understandable that once they're diagnosed, they have a real problem just getting to the doctor. And while we can't cover, the full cost of that, we try to do a little something for everybody.
Because that's what Sherry saw.
Right.
She saw that there was this need in the community, and she wanted, while she was in the trenches herself, to leave something to help others that were in a similar situation.
That's right. And just to make it clear, the American Cancer Society does great work, and we're not officially affiliated with them. We try to pick up the slack that they don't provide for, because of course Bledsoe County has raised a lot of money and continues to through Relay for Life, through special things. We've got a lot of really active teams, and so we don't discourage any of that. That's wonderful. and they do great in research and programs that we definitely need. But on the local level, that money does not stay in Bledsoe County. Everything that's raised for the American Cancer Society goes out of Bledsoe County. So, you know, while they do have some outreach programs, Sherry just saw that it wasn't meeting that kind of need.
At home, for us, at home.
Yeah, and it's not paperwork, and it's not going through a lot of levels, but
a lot of forms to fill out?
No, not at all, not at all.
Yeah.
And so we just like to give people a little encouragement and a little, you know, a little gas money to take you a few trips anyway. To go. And going along right into that, what we've seen is another positive thing come out of that. People are so touched when they get that, that it really helps them emotionally, I think, to know that people care about them. People know they have cancer, know they're going through a battle, and yet your neighbors have already provided to help you.
Well, I love how you guys find a way to help people. Debbie, do you want to say a little bit about how you guys have been, in my opinion, a little bit like guardian angels in this community?
Wow, I don't know that I would ever equate us on that level.
Better take it while you can.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Don't turn that down.
Definitely. I think the one thing that Sherry taught all of us is that she saw it from a first-hand perspective. And so she left that with all of us, that the first-hand perspective. And there's been, besides Ruth and I who have been from the onset with it, and Gail, there's several other people that Sherry, they were like Sherry's closest friends. And so when Sherry said, I want to do this, we were all like, okay. So there's several people that work at the courthouse, was where Sherry was working at the time that all this kind of happened. So we have a lot of people out in the community that kind of give us a heads up if somebody has cancer. We've never asked for diagnoses, or we don't do that. We just try to find those people that need help, and we just try to send a check to them. I do know that some of the hospitals, when I was working as a social worker, knew about the program in Bledsoe County because they were calling me. And people in Pikeville who had cancer were told by a social worker from the cancer oncology department that they needed to call us first. And so I don't know if that's their protocol or not, but they were told that there was a group in Pikeville, and so they got our number and asked if we could send them some gas money.
Which I know can be really helpful, talking about the commuting to get care.
I think our concern was, even though there are some free programs, my understanding, don't quote me on this, even though it's going to be on TV, but that Sethra possibly, there's some programs through Sethra. I just don't think people that have chemo want to get on a Sethra bus, want to have to wait if there's other people. And I don't know if they take other people with them or not. I think sometimes that's a very personal thing. You just want to get
really
there and get back.
Be sick.
And so that's kind of one of the things that we tried to talk and speak to the American Cancer Society about, that in a rural community, our needs are different. And so if you live in a big metropolitan area, you do have a lot more programs available to you. But we're in a rural community. Gail's been a great asset to us. She took hold of it. She had the Relay for Life kind of, go get them, let's go get this. So she has been able to advocate for us in a lot of different areas, and the support that she's been able to get from the local people and from local businesses has been amazing.
And you came on in 2013? Okay. And how many people have you served this year?
This year alone, we've had 7 to 8 people that we know about. We've had several people that have donated. Since I came on in 2013, we have helped over 40 people.
Wow.
So I think from the onset that they've helped at least over 100 people in the county. And at the beginning, I mean, like I said, we have been trying to send checks of $100 because gas is so high. And when our monies are low, we can't send that much. It's just according to what we have in our account. And we try to help them be able to get to their treatments and everything. So in the course of the time that it's been started, they have helped several people.
That's so amazing. And another thing is this is not income based.
No, it is not income based. It's just someone will call us and say, so and so has cancer. Is there any way you can help? So we get their address. I'll fix up a card and tell them our prayers are with them. Send them a check, and put it in the mail.
Yeah, and you've even had some people donate it back.
Yes, we have had some people that have called and said, could you just void my check? I really don't need it at this time, and I love what y'all are doing. Just void it and put it back into the account so it can help somebody else.
That's really neat. It's sounds to me like a very needed service in our community, and you know what you guys are trying to do is let people know about you so that they can donate.
Not only donate, but to be part of us.
Right.
There's no way all of us can reach all of this county. It's a huge county.
Now, is it just you three?
I know. We have a few others that are, you know, randomly around through the county. But, you know, we do need representatives off of every mountain. And I think one of the best ways is like in church families, because a lot of times through church you hear about who's sick, or you know within your own congregation who is, but even within the community, wherever the church is located, they're usually trying to, you know, reach out to people that are sick in the community. So the more people that we have working together with us, the more people we can serve, and to make sure that we are getting the word out there and we're not overlooking people. We've never ever told anybody no. We may have had to tell them to wait, but then, you know, if it's a waiting list, we'll get the money to them. But we're human. We don't get out there. We don't know everybody that has it. We don't know the need of some people. And those are things that we need to know about.
Yeah, I can just imagine going to my mailbox and I'm, you know, in the trenches with cancer or just received this diagnosis. I don't know how my finances are going to work out, and here is this card in the mail with maybe a check for $100, you know, saying we're praying for you, you know, we're here.
Right, it's that immediate help that sometimes people need on the front end. And so we're just confident that people in Bledsoe County are supportive of this, and as they hear more about it, that it will grow. I just think this is something everybody can get behind and try and be part of.
It's so accessible. I mean, it's right here in your community. You know where your money is going, and it goes immediately to help someone, versus sometimes you don't always know.
And none of this money goes to anybody other than a cancer patient. There's no administrative charges. None of us, there's no kickbacks for us. Everything goes straight to the bank. There's no even charge on our bank account. So all the money collected all goes straight to a cancer patient.
And that's what you want. That's what you want your money to be going to, is directly to helping the people that
Not a penny we've ever had that anybody's ever given has gone anywhere else except to a cancer patient.
Yes. Well, Gail, do you feel up to telling us a little bit about your story?
Okay. Well, I had been going for mammograms since I was 40. And to begin with, I had a condition called calcification, which I would have to go have biopsies ever so often, make sure that it wasn't cancer or anything. And I had been going and had to go every 6 months for a while. And then he said, okay, everything's fine. It's just calcifications, no problem. So I continued to go for mammograms. This is one thing that you need to make sure that everyone knows, to get your mammogram, because my cancer was not felt. You could not feel it. It was caught on mammogram only. Even when the doctor knew where it was, he could not feel the lump. So that is one thing that is so important to everyone. Please get your mammograms.
Yes.
Don't put them off, because it can save your life, you know.
And the technology today is not like it was.
There,
you know, I remember growing up and hearing that they were extremely painful, and they've really come a long way with the technology, and it's not something to be feared.
And I went for a routine mammogram August the 1st of 2005. And then on August the 4th, they called me back and said, we need you to come back in and have another mammogram. And then they did an ultrasound to go with it. Well, while I was there, the physician who read the ultrasound came in and he said, I see something suspicious. I want to send you to a specialist.
Oh gosh, did your heart just drop?
Yes.
There? I mean,
yes.
Is that when you started to become worried, or were you still just staying the course?
I think at that point, I knew I had cancer. I don't know why the feeling came over me, but I had already decided that that's what it was and I needed to take care of it. I was already seeing a specialist with the other, so that's who I went to. On August the 12th, I went to see him to set up having a biopsy. Well, he just happened to have an opening that day. So I stayed that day and had a biopsy done. And then 3 days later, I got a call from his physician assistant at work. I was sitting at my desk at work.
That's hard.
And she says, we need you to come in to see the doctor in the morning.
Oh, no.
Well, you know, when somebody calls and says, we need you to come in to see the doctor, and you've just had a test, you pretty much know, you know.
Good.
And I asked her, I said, why do I need to come in? Do I have cancer? And she said, yes. So my husband and I worked at the same place. We worked at the prison, and I called him and I said, can you go with me to the doctor in the morning? And told him on the phone what had happened. And I had been fine to that point, but once I said it out loud to him, then I started crying. He said, are you okay? I said, I'll be fine. I said, I'll see you after work. So then August the 16th is when I went to the doctor, and he told me I had invasive ductal carcinoma, stage 2A, which means that in size it was 1.5 inches in size.
And they couldn't feel it.
And they could not feel it.
Wow.
Invasive means that it has burst out of your ducts and that it can travel to other parts of your body.
Which is incredibly scary to hear.
They could not do my surgery. I opted to have a double mastectomy because I had an aunt who had the same exact cancer.
Really?
And she had had a double mastectomy. Oh my goodness. She had had a double mastectomy, and she had precancerous cells in the other side. So I chose to have a double mastectomy at that time. And then I had my surgery on September the 8th of 2005. And they put in expanders, which is something they put in if you're going to have implants put in. They have to put expanders in that goes behind your muscle wall. And then you have to go every couple of weeks and they fill it with fluid to stretch out your muscle wall to be able to put these things behind. I started taking chemo on October the 5th. I had to have 8 chemo treatments.
And did you have to go to Chattanooga?
I had to go to Chattanooga.
Okay.
But I not only had to go to Chattanooga for the chemo, the day after chemo, I had to go back to Chattanooga to have a shot that helped keep your blood cells built up so you could have your chemo every 2 weeks. They could not do that here. You had to go back to the oncologist office to have that done.
Yeah.
So I had 8 treatments. And during my situation, it not only affected me, but my dad. On the day that I started chemo, we found out he had cancer.
Oh my goodness, no.
So we actually went to chemo together at a certain point. And
tell everybody who he is in case they don't know.
My dad was Parker Holland, which was he was very well known in the
Everybody knew Parker.
And we lost him last year.
Oh, no. To cancer?
To cancer. Well, from the effects from the cancer.
Okay.
After 5 years, they say you can be cancer-free. Up to, it was just a few months before his 5 years. They said his cancer was back. And then he fought it for 4.5 to 5 more years, and
Yeah.
then we lost him. But like I said, it's very important for you to get your mammograms. That's the only way
Yeah.
mine was found.
Right.
If I had not found it, I could be one of the statistics today. So, and like I said,
and were you just in the beginning, going in, it was just routine?
it was just routine.
Yeah.
It was just for my yearly
You were just
mammogram.
doing your due diligence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm 11 years cancer free now.
Wow.
So hopefully I will remain that way. But you know, any cancer patient, don't matter how many years you've been, if you have a little pain or you have a little something that happens, that's the first thought that comes into your mind. Is
Yeah.
it back?
Is it? Yeah. Is it there?
Is it
kind of
there?
haunts you?
Yes.
And always wondering how it's going to be.
Yes. And mine was, like I said, it was breast cancer. And the October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I just wanted
That's
to
here in
throw
Pikeville.
in there for anyone that does not have insurance or can't have their mammograms done. You can go to your local health department and you can get free mammograms and you can get free pap smears. That is a benefit that you can get that was help initiated by the Cancer Society. But it is here in Bledsoe County. Anyone here in the county that does not have insurance
Yeah.
can go to their local health department and they can get these services for free or close to free, depending. They do their services on your income.
Yeah.
So that is something that it needs to be done. Everyone needs to make sure and have their mammogram.
Yes, absolutely. And we can go and make that happen here in town.
Yeah.
And Gail is such a good example of what we're about, and that she's seen it firsthand. And like I say, us and family members, we see that firsthand, that just a little bit of extra help can mean so much and can go so far at a time when you're
So
going
much.
through the greatest challenge of your life.
Exactly, because like I said, my dad had it. He not only had to have chemo, he had to have radiation. So he had to be taken to Chattanooga 5 days a week
Right.
for 6 weeks. So, I mean, you're talking about running into a lot of money and stuff just trying to get people to their treatments.
That was a real tumultuous time for you and your family.
Yes. Yes, and we still have trouble with it today, but we know he's in a better place. That's all I can say
Yes.
about that.
And you made it through the other side.
Yes.
And kept that positive attitude.
I try.
We all try. And how can people get in touch with you to donate?
Okay, all of our phone numbers are in the phone book. Mine is under Terry and Gail Deeney.
Yeah.
Gary and Ruth Burton.
Bobby and Debbie Collier.
Okay.
So, and then I think we're going to try to set up a Facebook page.
You can look for our Facebook page, Cancer Care Team.
Yes, we're gonna work on that.
You can also go straight to Citizens Tri-County Bank here in Bledsoe County. Tell them you want to make a donation to the Cancer Care Team, and they will do it there at the bank.
Right. And I think that it's a really good time of year to talk about this also, as you're giving gifts coming up on Christmas and you want to give a gift that matters. Donation is always something that is a gift that matters.
Absolutely.
and
We'll
does
give
something.
you a certificate that you can present
Yes.
saying
And
that you have donated.
I gave you a gift of helping someone out, or being there when someone is low and in the dark and they just don't know what to do, and there are people here looking out for you, people here in town, in home.
That's what you can give me this year. dear.
Okay, I can do that. I also think it's important in the last couple years for you to kind of mention some of the local groups here in town who actually have been doing fundraisers for us.
Oh yes, we have had the Quarterback Club have been doing some of their fundraisers that they have with the school. They have been taking a part of their donations and have donated it back to us. The Bledsoe Telephone Co-op have taken donations that have come back to us. So we do have local ones, and we have had people who have lost their loved one to cancer that have had people make donations in memory of that person. So,
And when you worked at the prison, did the prison?
yes, when I worked at the prison, we had a group of prisoners there that was called the Lifers Club.
Right.
They made a donation that was money that was strictly from the prisoners. They took money up and they made a donation to it also. I had forgot about that.
So sometimes when you see that we're going to have a drive where we sometimes sell sack lunches, you will now know where the money goes to and how many people that we can serve. For every $100 we raise, we can basically serve one person. So our goal is to try to always make sure there's money there if people need it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for meeting with me today and encouraging people at home that, you know, we are here. We are here to help you. The Bledsoe County Care Team, donate, and we're looking for you. Basically, right?
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
Really helps me to think. Even hearing about Sherry's story, you know, you just don't know. You don't know when that day is going to come, when it just gets very dark for you. And having good friends and having this really great community can help pull you up.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for
Yes,
tuning in today. As always, you can find me on Facebook, Katie Burns Live Well, or email me at livewell@bledsoe.net. And I hope that this week you will take time to live well.